Hello, my marvellous sausages. It's me again. Look, I'm wearing a shirt this time. Yes, do you like it? Scullage, what with it being... What month is it? October. Yes. I wanted to do another In Your Fizzog video because I want to talk about Destiny 2's new season. New episode at the moment. Because, well, I'm a bit worried about where it's going. Now, there's a bit of a dramatic thumbnail there. 10 months to live. Now, where that comes from... I've worked out how long we've got until Apollo comes out, okay? So we've kind of got 140 days, which this episode will completely run for up until, like, the middle of January. And then, of course, we're going to duplicate that kind of time frame. I can only assume, but we're going to duplicate that kind of time frame with the final episode as well. Let's say that's another 140 days. That puts it at around about 280 days, which works out at around about 10 months-ish. Oh, there we go. So we've got 10 months here, and... how the game performs in this next 10 months is going to be pretty important, don't you think? Because the player numbers are incredibly low. I was streaming the other night, and one of my marvellous sausages came in, Cyprus as a matter of fact, came in and said 66,000 players, and that was on the night of the release of the actual episode. And I thought, oh, that's not bad, and then I thought, oh no, hang on, that's not very good at all. It isn't good at all. It should have been at least 90, shouldn't it? Or 100 on the release of a big episode. I was quite surprised at that. Plus, I've been making videos now for the content that's popped out within episodes. And I did my normal reset video, and then I did another video on the tonics thing, you know, that everybody loves. Because it's very complicated. Okay, it's not complicated, it's just not explained. So we've all had to sort of feel our way around in the dark to try and figure out how it all works. And I usually get a few negative comments, you know, saying, oh, this is a dead game and all that. But I've never seen so many people saying, I'm done with this. This is just nonsense. I'm not enjoying it at all. What's the point? It's going to be dead in a few months anyway. All those kinds of comments. And once you read them again and again and again and again and again, much more than often, it really does make you think. So when I was working out the amount of days that we've got left, if this game isn't performing during that period of time... it's going to be in big, big trouble, innit? I mean, we knew it was going to be in big, big trouble anyway. But I think the problem is this 1 year between how they're going to fix it. We've got that entire period now. Okay, we're a third of the way through. They haven't gone any way to doing it yet. The numbers just keep on dropping. When you look at the Steam chart graph, after the final shape, which didn't sell as well as Lightfall either, so it's been on a constant decline really since Lightfall. It's much, much less. You're looking at 30, 40,000. This morning I checked it. I looked on the Steam chart, and Warframe, which I suppose you could say is its peer. It's a similar kind of game in the sense that it's a looter shooter. That's about it. That's how they're similar, and it's set in space-ish. But anyway, that had 43,000 at about 9 o'clock this morning, and Destiny 2 had 25,000. And I thought, whoa, that's crazy. Now, I've looked just before I came onto the camera here, and Destiny was back up to about 45,000, but Warframe was hovering around about 50, 60. So it's not doing great, and I think there's a few reasons for this. First of all, it's coming off the tail of Episode Echoes, which wasn't a great story really, and it didn't really grab people very much. It didn't grab me anyway. So I found that there wasn't much to grind. I think I played less during Episode Echoes than I've played in the last year. I mean, I played it really quite a lot less. Apart from doing stuff for videos and for streaming, I didn't play it at all, really. I had a batch of Trials of Osiris at the end there to try and get Aisha's care. But that was kind of the only thing that I did. Second thing, they tried a bit of an experiment, haven't they, with the story, dropping it all on week 1. And I think what it's done is made people realise, I was amazed, everyone's going, well, that's it, hour and a half, my God, this is pathetic, are they taking that? You know, people saying, they don't know what they're doing. Of course they know what they're doing, but this is what they've got. And they would usually split that up over the 3 weeks, and they would sort of insert little quests as well that would kill a bit of time for us, you know, as well. But usually, that's what we have, just split up over the 3 weeks. But because we've had it all in one go, it was an hour and a half long, and now it's finished. So we've got 5 weeks with no story. None at all whatsoever. We don't have 5 weeks with nothing to do, but we do have 5 weeks without any story. The story itself, I thought was great. Really enjoyed it. I wanted more of it, because the story spoilers coming up, okay, just in case you don't want to know. The helm got smashed into by a ketch and crashed planetside and is now being repaired in the tower. Brilliant, that was really cool. Thick Rule was basically trying to get Aldrin to come back so they could go and conquer the universe together. And of course it's not Aldrin anymore, it's Crow, and Thick Rule goes, I shall rip him from your bones, my mighty king, or something like that. And then buggers off. And then I thought, oh great, this is the start. But it wasn't the start, it was the finish. Now, that's just my narrative brain going, this is just the start. And of course it's Act 1. So yeah, you know, I suppose it is just the start. But it does leave you with a frustrated feeling that you wanted to do more. Let me bring you over to my console view here. That's what I call it on my OBS Scenes, you see. I want to come over to inventory and show you in the tonic capsule here something. Now, the pattern of episode Echoes was Act 1, we had the new activity. Or similar, well, the activity, whatever it was, I can't remember what it's called. You know, the breach, whatever, and the running around the splicer maze thing. Oh, I can't remember. Enigma Protocol. That's it. Yeah, that was Act 1. Act 2, we had the battlegrounds added, and Act 3 was all just the exotic mission, the encore mission. Now, when you come here to the tonic capsule thing, you can see you got all your reagents. Oh, bugger off! All the reagents that you collect here. This one is there's nothing on that one because it's from Onslaught Salvation. I've spent it all, but these two here are really important, because if you look at Tomb Flake, it says obtained from Tomb of Elders activities, which sounds to me like a variation of Prison of Elders, which of course would be utterly fantastic. Now, is that coming this act or the next act? And then we've got one next to it as well that says obtained from exotic mission Kel's Fall. Do you think that's coming this act or the third act? Yeah, I think you can see the pattern here. We're going the same way, I think, as episode Echoes. So next act, we're going to be having the introduction of Tomb of Elders, so one more activity. And then we've got a reflective flake there, which is Kel's Fall, which is going to be the exotic mission. Now, a lot of people didn't like the fact that the exotic mission was the third act, because usually exotic missions kind of run parallel, don't they, you know, to whatever's going on. But I think it's going to be the same thing. I think the exotic mission is going to be Act 3. We'll revisit this when it's all finished, when the episode's finished. I'm going to do another review of the episode once it's finished as well. But at the moment, this looks like what we've got coming. Now, we do have the activities like Festival of the Lost coming on October the 29th. But unfortunately, it looks like there's hardly any changes to that. It's still going to be the Haunted Lost sectors. People have seen references to the Haunted Lost sectors within various... well, I think it was actually mentioned on the season pass there. Well, anyway, it looks like it's Haunted Lost sectors again for another 3 weeks. That will take us then to the end of Act 1, and then Act 2 will kick in, and we're going to have the Dawning in that, aren't we, as well? So, we've got those things taking us through. That's not going to be enough to hold people's attention, I don't think. And then if it just repeats it with the final episode before Apollo, it's going to be pretty touch and go. So there's going to have to be an investment, I think, by Sony into the game in order to keep it going. I mean, of course, they've done a massive bloody investment. They just bought it for 4 billion quid. But when they were with Activision, they had a couple of studios helping them out. I can't remember one of their names, but one of them is High Moon, I believe, was one of the studios. And they worked on quite a lot of the expansions. So they had 2 studios working on 2 things. And when they left Activision, of course, Activision, they took those resources with them, which left Bungie on their own. And I think they kind of realised then during that point that they couldn't make what they wanted to make, even though they felt like they could. They felt like they'd been creatively set off the leash. But of course, creativity in the computer game industry comes at a price, and their wallet had significantly shrunk. And then we had the artificial inflation of when the dreaded Lurgy hit us all for 2 years. But of course everybody stayed home, played loads of computer games, and they made shed loads of money, and then they started thinking they could do loads of different games, and they also expanded their headquarters. And I think what happened there was they diluted themselves too thin. The game suffered, which Destiny should have been something that they were cultivating, you know, all the time, and they didn't cultivate it. They just kind of took things away from it to try and create these other projects, which resulted in them going, oh my god, we can't do it all, we need help. And then I think that resulted in the Sony sale, you know, Sony buying them. So Sony have a choice now whether or not they can start patching up this wounded animal or take it out into the shed and do the very nasty thing with it. So I don't know what's going to happen. I have no idea. And there's not going to be any stellar performances here up until the next thing that happens, Apollo, because there's not, is there? People already aren't impressed with this particular episode. I'm quite enjoying it myself, but there's not going to be a great deal of stuff for me to do here, you know, as far as making videos and stuff are concerned. I will still be making them, but you probably noticed that I'm making other kinds of videos and I'm trying a few different experiments and things. That's just natural, really, because it's my livelihood and it's my income, so I've got to try and keep it going somehow. Now, in all fairness, the story did finish in an hour and a half, but that's what we're really used to spread over a long amount of time. But we do have these here. Look, we've got the various fieldworks to do, which are supposed to carry us through the rest of the season. But look, I've already done most of these. I haven't been playing that much. Honestly, I've played, like, you know, for a few hours each day. Not loads at all. I've got other things to do. I stream and all that kind of stuff. So I've did all those. I've only got one of these left, and then I've got the final one there left to complete as well, and then that's it. I mean, I think these are kind of the equivalent of the NES missions where we could go, you know, we got the frog and we got the bats and we found all the different things. But because they were each week, and they were quite hidden, some of the things as well, they had more kind of life to them. I was staggered, right, at these missions themselves. All you had to do was go and find an object, which was very obvious to find. It wasn't hidden anywhere. There wasn't much exploring involved. It was generally right there in front of you. And then unlocking certain amounts of these, unlock these major fieldworks. Now, I thought these would be bigger missions, because when you pick them up, the map appears on the screen, or the screen appears, and then you go and you play it. But all it is literally 1 minute, 50 seconds, or 2 minutes, and you've got to kill 15 enemies with and there's a kind of like a vaguely mid-level boss type chap at the end, and that's it. That's all it was for every single one of them so far, and I've no doubt that one's going to be the same as well. I don't know what that's going to be yet, but it's not going to make up for the... They're really short. There's nothing much to them at all. There's no sense of discovery. As a content creator, I was hoping to do videos for all of these, and I have done videos for all of these, and I'm going to put out, but no one's going to watch them because it's so hard, it's so easy to find the stuff. So I'm not, you know, I know, oh, poor me. Well, it is me livelihood, you know, but still, it would have been more fun if we had to look for them. Do you know what I mean? Or there's some puzzles involved, or just anything really. These were very, very straightforward. And if this is all it is, then all we've got left is, of course, the absolutely, and it is wonderful, the new Onslaught mode. Now, that new Onslaught mode is brilliant because, well, it's not, it is a kind of a new mode, really, because we've got the 3 new maps. They're great fun. They feel really fresh. Well, because they knew they would, really, wouldn't they? But they've also got the new weapons in them. You've got the airstrike weapon, and you've also got the turret. Upgrade those to the 3rd tier. They are excellent fun. I heartily recommend it, don't you, Bernard? Yes, they're really, really good. So I was very much enjoying those. Will they last me for the whole thing? Will that take me through to the entirety of the next season? No. No. I'll jump in now and again and have a go. But that was it. It's like I didn't play the... Was it Breach Executable? There we are, I remembered. I've played Breach Executable a bit, but not very much. This is much better than Breach Executable. And I think the story is far more entertaining already than it was in last season. But there we go. This is going to be our 5 weeks. Now, we do have this lovely new area here as well, which is great, and I hope they utilize it in some way throughout the whole episode. Get things hidden in here, because it's a massive space, and it's great, and there's lots of nooks and crannies here. Plus, of course, we've got a new vendor. We've got Spider, which is great. But I think he's something to do with the new dungeon. Now, I don't think you can fairly say that the dungeon is part of this episodic content, because it's running alongside of it, because you pay for it separately, you know? So is he anything to do with the new content, or with the new season? New episode, rather? The stupid thing is, right, we're calling them episodes. We're going to call it for episode for this one, and then an episode whatever the next one is, and then it's going back to seasons again. So I'm just going to stick calling them seasons, if you don't mind, just for my stupid addled brain. Well, anyway, Spider's here, and he might become a vendor for that dungeon, but I don't know if they're going to do any new mechanics in the dungeon. We don't know, but it's completely separate, so it's not really fair to include it within the episode. I've just noticed as well that these lights are really bright. I've got a big glow of my cherubic... Oh, hang on, the camera's there. I got confused. There's a big glow of my cherubic face. I do apologise. I'll have to sort it out. I haven't got any proper lights. These are a fill-in. Anyway, I just really want them to pull something out of the hat, because when the game is good, it's so good, isn't it? But I don't know. We're just going to have to see what's going on, and I think these next 10 months are going to be vitally important to its continued survival. And when they bring out Marathon, that might make the studio last longer, and then hopefully that will in turn give them a bit more stuff to Destiny 2. But I really think they should have been working on Destiny 3 at least 3 years ago and be releasing it about next year, which they're not going to, so bugger. Anyway, fire away in the comments. Let me know what you think. I always love to read them. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you all again very soon. Sausage hurt.